Hi, I'm Sophie.
Hi, I'm Paul. And we are
SP Filmviewers.
Hello and welcome to another retrospective. This will be 2023
I
edition.
can't actually believe we're already through 2023 and coming into the new year.
Things have gone pretty quick.
It's flown by this year. I was kind of glad to see the back of it. Not because of podcasting film-wise, but just the year we've had has been a bit manic.
Yeah, more like personal stuff and
Yeah.
things like that.
But hopefully here's better 2024 new year to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And as always with these, and anything that's on this is going to be just uncut, basically, like anything that's kind of
So
happened.
we're going to sound even more rubbish, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I've got a little bit of the last of me fruity rum that I've had in a blackberry rum I've had in a glass in a bottle for a while. So that's seeing that year out with that, I guess.
Is that to help you feel more relaxed, or is that just
I think it's just
nice wind down?
I know you've just got a cup of tea.
I have proper Yorkshire lass, no better than a cuppa. So, should we get into it then? And first of all, I hope everyone has a wonderful new year, has a wonderful start to it in 2024. Hopefully not all too drunk before you get to the first day of 2020. 2024 sounds weird at the moment. It's not,
I know. It's always a struggle at the beginning, isn't it? And then getting used to it because you've had so long with the previous year, and then it's sometimes hard to just ease into it.
July, I'll be like, oh yeah, I know what month I'm in. What year.
Yeah. Well, before we do, I want to obviously just a general thank you to the Patreons and everybody who's listened throughout the year to our episodes. Really appreciate all your love and support that you've given us and comments and all that kind of stuff.
I definitely do feel like we've grown a lot this year within SP. I feel like we've done quite a bit of podcasting, joining on other people's as well as guesting. And I know you're looking forward to plans for 2024 already.
Yes.
Of how more scheduled.
So I've looked back on we didn't have that many guests on this year. But so I'm making a change to that, and I asked a whole bunch of people that wanted to have on as guests, and the kind of majority have said yes. So I think we're kind of set for quite a few next time around. So that'll be interesting and exciting. So just want a quick shout out to the people who have guested on our show this year, who are Ian from Cult Connections, Josh from Just Films and That, Nico and Chris from the Good, the Bad and the Weird podcast, who are one of our patrons.
Yep. And we did the voices, so go check that one out if you haven't already.
Yeah, and then two other patrons who are more close friends, who are Danny Jones, The Lighthouse.
That was a good one.
And Emma Hayton for the very last one, which was of 2023, which was the Muppets Christmas Carol.
It's still sad that we can't just be a podcast about film Christmas. I'm still sad that we can't just be a Christmas podcast like all year round. But yeah, we did have a really good Christmas specials up to it. I feel like we did really sterling kind of Christmas movie picks this year.
No, absolutely. I think we did generally all round, looking back on some of the stuff that we've done.
Well, what is refreshing is I can't say that I know all of the films we've watched and remember them, but I can look through and go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, vaguely. I've either dumped that in my trash archive, but I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I know you've given me this list of what we've watched for the year, and I've been like, what even is this one?
Yeah.
And to be fair, there's not that many on here that I don't remember
at all. Yeah.
So that's good in its sense.
Yeah. Well, I know one of them, as some jokes out throughout the year, was one that he said was just a film. That being Stand By Me. It's a film I've seen.
That's the only one, actually, when I read it, that made me chuckle, because I remember you I more remember it from the fact that that's what I said than the actual film. I was a bit critical and really harsh on some of them as well. Like
looking back on it, yeah.
Yeah, there's some scores of 1s and 2. To be fair,
is there a 1 on here?
Yeah, there is. There is a 1.
Oh yes, yeah.
Of course, there is.
So I have a reason for that, and the 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think you're that. Have you ever scored that lowly?
Not this year. I haven't. No. No, I think the lowest I've scored is
the 5.
5.
Yeah.
For 2, and the same one that you gave for 1, which was The Room. Oh yes, shoot, we did have a guest for that as well. Sorry.
We did do Too Bad, because I was thinking when you said that, I'm sure.
Sorry, I haven't written that down. Yeah, sorry, apologies. That's also Midnight Screenings podcast. Yeah, with Nathan.
Yeah.
And he said he really enjoyed doing that. But I always think on that one as like, for me, like in a way, it's like, oh, I wish the recording had been a bit better. I think that's my hold up on that one. Like the recording of itself was a bit like not the greatest.
Oh, how come? Is it the internet?
Just the playback, I think it was because we did it on Discord. I've never done it before on that, and I don't think the sound quality is that cracking. I think, to be honest, I really wanted to listen back after editing it. I've not gone reassessed it or anything like that. But
is it because I edited it?
I think it was one of those ones where you did have to take the wheel in those early years, yeah. Because I was juggling.
Is that why you don't like it?
Yeah, I remember some of the early ones in that beginning of the year was because I was juggling 2 things.
You were doing 2 jobs at once, yeah. And you just, bless you could not manage doing the podcast as well. And I was a wonderful wife and stepped in. So you're trying to tell me I did a crap job? That's what you're saying. You actually didn't say the way that it was edited sounded bad. You just said
no. I think it was just how I am with.
You are a perfectionist.
Yeah, that's it. That's just me. But we did have some 10s though, so
we did. We're going through them.
Yeah. The first one we did was Before Sunrise.
I think that's one of the films where I would go back. That's why it's a 10. I would definitely go back to it, and even like thinking about it in 2024, I would put it on and really enjoy watching that again. And it's not been that long since we've seen it, but I would still happily go back to it. I think it'd be one that I would now actually watch with my mum and sister, and it's a girly, chicky, flicky one, but it's at the same time it's just so much more than that. Yeah,
more like a romance, but with a bit more depth to it. But what about the follow-up ones, or as I kind of said, like it works as just a standalone film and you kind of make up your own interpretation?
I think so. And I think because obviously I know how it ends, I feel like I could, from my mum and sister's point of view, probably the second and the third they probably don't need to see.
Okay.
They probably would want to, but if they wanted to just leave it there and then me film in, then that'd be fine too.
In what way would you tell them what happens, or you mean just like, just think what you want?
Well, my mum would want to know, wouldn't she?
Well, yeah.
She'd want to know exactly what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. There was one that was quite close for me, almost a 10. But you gave
4.
No, I'm not looking at that one.
Oh no!
I'm talking about your next 10 that you gave.
The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Do you not want to change your mind?
No, I think it's still kind of there with that. I think it's a bit like me, like with Licorice Pizza. Whereas I don't know what would push it that a little bit further, but I can't quite give it top marks.
I kind of get what you're meaning, because when going further on into this episode, you've given me a chance to do my top 10 movies of all time. And that I found that really hard.
More on that later.
But Licorice Pizza was one of the ones where I was like, I've given it a 10 and I know I enjoy it, but does that mean it's actually in my top 10? And that made it seem to make it harder to think actually what is top 10 worthy. So I kind of get where you're coming from, because if in the new year I was looking at Perks of Being a Wallflower being in my top 10, what would it be? Probably not, but I would still give it a 10, but it wouldn't be my top 10, if that makes sense.
No, I understand, because as I'll get to later on with mine as well, I think it's kind of like looking back and thinking, yeah, there's plenty of films I would give a 10, but they're in their own, almost like in their own category of top 10s, not like the all-time.
I get you.
Yeah. But 100%. I know for you, it's you've seen more films than you probably ever have, but for you, finding that top 10 out of that smallish amount that you've seen is maybe quite difficult to whittle down. But I'm interested to know, because I don't even know what, other than maybe I'm pretty sure I know what your top number one film is, but the other ones, where they sit and what they might be is interesting. But
yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, but alluding to what you said before about the one that you said was 4, I just gave 9.5. I'm thinking of ending things, which I think could have probably. I did quite enjoy that the first time I saw it, because it was a Charlie Kaufman piece, but it's like gone sort of slightly down from after a few watch. I think it was like I said, my third viewing of that, but I don't know if it would be something like, oh yeah, like.
Is it because I was watching it with you?
I don't know. No, because I still enjoyed it, and I felt there's a lot of depth to it. But I feel like sometimes it can be, I don't, it's pretentious, but like too smart for its own good type of way or something like that. But it's definitely got good things about it. But it maybe that's one of the ones that could like, oh, so one day it is a 10. Maybe it's like, Like
I feel like it depends on your mood. Sometimes this really does reflect on how you can mark something. So looking back at what I've scored, my top 10, I'm like, I only did it like, I think it was Christmas Day, I think, or when we actually did it, when we had a quiet moment in the evening, and I was like, now looking back at it, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, it's interesting, and that's only been like a week really since I've actually reviewed it properly. So the next 10, which we both agreed on as well, was Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I mean, it's never going to not be not a 10 in that film.
No. And that was with our guest Josh, that one. And he pretty much agreed with that.
We also had another guest.
Do you mean Ian from Cult Connections? It was the first one of the year, which was Rita Sue and Bob too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that film. And I don't ever want to see that again. I'm not going to lie. I gave it a 5.
No, I know you did.
That's quite generous.
Yeah,
I think if we hadn't have had a guest, I probably would have marked it lower. Because it just made me feel really uncomfortable.
What would you, if it wasn't a guest, what would you rate it?
Probably been like a 2.
2.
Yeah. If in my honest gut of the heart, I hated every second of it. And the fact that we had to talk to somebody, bless them, that were quite saw the good in the film.
And then it kind of was like, oh yeah, it kind of makes it more difficult to go. I didn't. But people have their differences, and like I said, that's what Ian's do. Like the cult status of the stuff that he does, he covers. There's kind of like nuggets of things that kind of like, oh, you might not see it that way, and kind of like pinpoint those aspects of the film or things. So it kind of brings that out, and it's like see it from a different angle, I guess.
It did, but it did. It did actually quite help to make it sound like the film was better than it was at the time.
Just because it's from Bradford, isn't it? The film set in Bradford, too close to home. Yeah,
and I think obviously my dad grew up in Buttershore as well, so kind of got that connection. But it doesn't mean that I think it's a cracking film.
A cult connection.
I still can't believe that. So the next 10, then. From me.
I love you bypassed the ones I gave.
Yeah, I did. I'm just looking at mine. I can't believe you didn't give Barbie a 10.
Why does that shock you?
Why wouldn't you? It's the best film. It made me cry. It made me happy. It's because you're a bloke, isn't it?
The patriarchy.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. I really, really enjoyed what it had to offer, and I do like Greta Gerwig's body of work and stuff. So it was,
body of work. But you mean just her as... You're not meaning... I thought you were on about Margot Robbie then complimenting her. I was like, oh yeah, Paul, of course you do.
No, I'm talking about the director actually thinking sex.
I was just thinking the worst of you straight away. Didn't even listen to what you were saying.
I mean...
Sorry, the ones that you scored a 10, you've been quite generous this year.
Well, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, the some of my ones, like, ones that are really, like, solid and I've kind of had a lot of time to rewatch and digest and stuff, so...
The Good, the Bad and the Ugly over Barbie. Yeah. You gave that a 10 and you gave Barbie a 9. All they do is stare into the camera, looking at one another. Are you going to shoot? Are you not going to shoot? Who knows?
Also, it wasn't the entire film, though, was it?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, if somebody wanted me to sum up the good, the bad, and the ugly, I'd just look at them and then do, and that'd be it. That's all I need to do. Like, if you're doing charades and you could speak, there you go, done. Film ends. Not a 10. Sorry, Paul. The other one, though, we had Jones on our Patreon, and that was Lighthouse. I gave it an 8. It's a contender. I think...
Contender for what?
It's a strong contender of a film. I don't think I could give it a 10 just because it's not probably the genre I really like.
That's fair.
But for you, I can see why you would give it a 10.
Yeah. And particularly as it's like Robert Eggers, who's the director of that, and his work, his body work, he's only done 3 films, but they're really, really good. And I didn't get round to covering The Witch this year, but that was good. Attended for Halloween, but we didn't get round to that with other stuff that we had. But
I'm sure there was one that I could have got rid of.
Instead of that.
Yeah.
But I was really happy though that when we covered The Dark Knight, and because that was like a film you'd half seen, and then you realised I've seen more than I thought.
Yeah, actually.
And that you gave that such high praise. Well, that meant a lot to me.
Oh, bless you! I didn't do it for you.
No, I know you didn't do it on for this. Like, just do it for the sake of it. But the fact that you off your own, on your own accord.
I think it was just. It really has. Well, first of all, it's got Heath Ledger. Mm-hmm. It has the action / story / the whole package pretty much within the film. It's got comedy. It's got the humour. It gives you emotion. It gives you everything you want in a film.
It's so well paced, yeah. Actually,
and it's long, but it's not like, oh, is this film going to end? You're enjoying every minute, and it keeps you on your toes because 1 minute you're thinking, oh, right, that's it. Batman's got the Joker. Yep, da-da-da. Yeah. Case closed. And then you're like, oh, okay, didn't anticipate that we were going to be carrying on. And Heath Ledger's performance is amazing. Like, he's my favourite Joker.
Yeah, I don't know if you've really seen any of the Batman iterations other than maybe, like, cartoons and
The only other one was, obviously, the... but he's not actually being a villain in it.
Oh yes, from the actual Joker film. But yeah, not with the Batman and the villains and stuff.
Yeah. So your next 10 was The Exorcist.
And you got through it as well.
I was really proud of myself, actually. I'm not going to lie, because I felt like this was going to be one of a big deal breaker for me that I thought would really scare me and petrify me. And I think if you asked me, Sophie versus, I don't know, put like 2 options in front of me, I'd probably never pick that one, just because I know it's meant to be absolutely horrific. But because I'd gone in with this scary, like, this is going to really, really scare me, I think I tried to depict it as, oh, well, this is just a film, and I go into the logical side of what we're watching it, so that it didn't upset me. But it wasn't that bad, actually. It really wasn't.
No, it definitely has a slight different approach to how it handles the horror, because I say, like, there's more of a story to it as opposed to just jump scare kind of thing. It's like,
I think if they did it now, if they recreated The Exorcist,
well, I think Well, they have. I know they have. They've
Well,
tried to do a thing, and then it's just been backlash. It's like, oh, this is rubbish. This is nothing what it's supposed to be.
I feel like it would scare me more though, just because of how
they try and make you do the jump scares.
Yeah.
And, like, because ADHD type of
Mhm.
way of doing stuff, and because you've got to keep your attention. You can't have an in-depth story about the, you know, like going through all the troubles that they're going through. And
I think also it's the fact of it would probably look a bit more realistic. Not saying it didn't look realistic, because it did, but I think nowadays with the technology and everything they've got, I think that would look 10 times more scary for me. I think I was sat there going, oh, how are they doing this in my head to try and make it not so frightening.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'd come back to it and watch it again. It doesn't mean that. I've seen it once, I'm fine. I don't need to see it again. But it does have a good story. I will give it that.
No, it really doesn't. I think you sort of got a bit more scared with Ghostwatch a little bit more. Felt that more a bit more.
I think it's because it was the jumpy scares a little bit. You weren't sure when something was coming out or not. And I think also for me, it was the shadows. It's Blair Witch, you're building something up in your head that you're going to see something. Whereas at least when the little girl's on the screen of The Exorcist, I knew that she was possessed. So I knew something was going to happen if she was on screen.
Yes.
Whereas I'm not looking in the background trying to make up crap that's not there.
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But can we just... I know obviously we didn't give it... And you gave it a 9. But my favourite Halloween, and I would actually rewatch this every year, is Houseu. So I feel like for a Halloween special, for me actually to say, yes, Paul, at Halloween I will watch this film again.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think that's really because of, one, being Japanese, too. It's like a very much oddball comedy style iteration of it. It's not taking itself that seriously. It's just absolutely out there.
And I think that's what I love about it. And it's the humour which I normally don't appreciate, but because it's done in a Japanese manner and style, I don't know, it becomes across a little bit more innocent within the whole film. And I just quite adore it, actually, even though it's a little bit gruesome. It's not petrifyingly scary.
I just like the fact that it's akin to, like, what they wanted a blockbuster hit like Jaws. Can't go for that, and that's what they came up with. But yeah,
I still think it is. It's better than Jaws, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, another 10 you gave was the following up for after Halloween was when I gave you something a bit more light-hearted.
Maybe that's why I gave it a 10. Maybe if I rewatched Marcel the Shell, I don't know if I would possibly give it a 10. I think the reason behind it is the cleverness behind the actual concept and the way it's delivered as well. That makes me score it a bit higher. Just for the fact that it is just a little shell being
stop motion.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for stop motion. And just all the hard work that went into actually making that shell move, and thoughts of concept of him getting around and all of that kind of aspect to it.
Yeah, although that, for me, that was part of the problem because he didn't move around enough.
Sorry, Paul. Do you want him swinging in like Tarzan or something?
No, I meant more the location based, where he's on a little road trip thing. That was me. Not so much that he's, you know, yeah. I don't expect him to be doing cartwheels. Yeah, but yeah.
No, I think it was definitely one of those ones where probably re-looking at it, it's probably going to be a 9 reflectively. But I think because I'd had such a hard time with Halloween, and then it was just so nice to have something lighthearted. Okay. It probably gave it more of a swing for a 10.
Yeah, maybe, but I guess that doesn't reflect so much on the Christmas ones, though.
No,
because it's your season, really, isn't it? More so.
Yeah.
So
but we had some really good ones.
Yeah, no, I thought SO did pretty well this year.
We've got 4 10s on Christmas.
Yeah, full top 4, 40.
Well, obviously Love Hard was an 8, so...
Oh yeah, I'm counting them more because 1 and 2 are Home Alone.
Yeah.
Being, counting those.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, because you weren't that generous. I can't believe you only scored Home Alone 1 a 9, and then Home Alone 2 9.5. You didn't even make it a 10. Come on, Paul.
Yeah, but there's the films that kind of are more deserving.
You're too critical, I think you are.
Well, I have
you
to be
really
because...
love Home Alone 2. I know you do. So it's like, and you do prefer 2 over 1. So it makes sense that it'd be 9.5 for 1 and 10 for 2.
But honestly, on a sense of like, even if it was on like a top 100 films of like top 10 rated films, I wouldn't necessarily put that as. I feel like there's a space that could be better utilised for something else.
Spoilers are not in my top 10. I haven't just done all Christmas movies.
I did you worried about that. I was thinking about it's going to be like,
I won't lie.
5 of them are top Christmas films and 5 aren't.
Some are.
All right.
But I feel like I understood where you were coming from, where I could just do a niche of like Singing in the Rain, and then The Vicious Wives could come into there, or The Apartment, or what's the other one that's like You've Got Mail, but...
Shop Around the Corner. No, we haven't covered that, but yeah.
They would kind of go in a bracket of its own category.
All right, yeah.
And could be its like top.
Yeah.
And so I get where you're meaning like top 10s within genres.
Okay, yeah. Although...
They're similar, but it's more the oldie films I'm bracketing it as.
Okay.
But yeah.
Come back on the other things that we've...
Yeah, my other low score being Superbad.
Yeah, that...
2,
but that did surprisingly well in terms of numbers on...
Now, guys, don't be getting any ideas. Just because I don't like a film and then you think, oh, this is an absolute hilarious episode. We love the fact that Sophie gets wound up.
Well, I mean, first, obviously, I'm going to say I like those episodes when you've got something to beef about. But
we can't have that all the time.
I know we can't.
Because then
that will get pretty boring.
Well, also, I think my blood level would rise too much.
No, but yeah, I try and do them sparingly.
Yeah.
If it falls that way, but it's always don't get me wrong, it's always amusing episode when you've got, or even if I've got something bad to say about something, I feel like I do.
You're hilarious. Like there's one, I'm sure we covered, I believe the remake of, was it You Banged On About the Lion King?
Oh yeah. That was an old episode. And
I absolutely loved that you got on your high horse, because normally it's me that gets on a little soapbox and has a little bit of a moan and a rant about something, and then don't come up for air, basically. The one, though, that I felt like I had a growth in was rewatching The Voices. And
yes, true.
Obviously we had the lovely guests.
Nico and Chris, who did, they offered insights into, their things. Obviously they listen to a lot of murder mystery films and shows and stuff like that. Yeah. So they brought something to that, which is quite insightful.
But I think as well, for me, the first time watching that film... Yeah,
years and years ago when we first dating. And then you were like, no, can't handle
this. This is just getting ridiculous. And we stopped it there because I was like, I'm going to have nightmares and I've got to sleep on my own. And now looking back at it, it was like, really soft. It's not that bad. Yeah. And I actually quite enjoyed the film in total. Obviously, I won't give it really high scores, but I think showing for like mental health and actually people have issues and what they perceive in their heads sometimes to what is realistic worked quite well for that film.
No, it was really good, and I'm glad you got something more out of it, because I was just worried that this will used to be slating it or something, just even if it's got Ryan Reynolds.
Do love a good Ryan Reynolds, I'm not gonna lie. I think that's what the problem was initially when I first went into that film, was the front cover looks very jovial and light-hearted, and you don't anticipate that it's going to take that dark turn. And also, I'd only seen Ryan Reynolds in chick flicks at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
yeah. What I did like this year as well was the sort of like inclusion of like a themed month, which was anime, which is so clever.
Can we have that next year or in 2024, please?
Yeah, there's still room for that to do this films that we want to cover and get round to this time. What my favourite one? Well, no, let's say that saying that because there's quite a few that was there was Go Over the Fireflies. I know it's a sad one, but it's still impactful. And Susan May, which we saw at the cinema, that was really good.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah,
I feel like we need to rewatch that actually.
Yeah, it'll be coming out on disc early next 2024. I'm saying that was a couple of days away, but I think my favourite one though, even though it's more of a nostalgia trip, there was the Digimon movie.
I'll be honest, that song just got stuck in my head. I'm not even gonna say it because it's already in there, and my head's singing it.
Yeah, living there rent free.
It just.
But I did hear I was like, oh, when is it coming out? They're doing re-releasing it on Blu-ray. I think it's going to be probably like an import. To be fair, I don't think it'll be coming over.
What, Digimon?
Digimon the movie, but with the Japanese version and the UK version, the American version.
Right. So you get both.
So the stories will be more match up to what they're supposed to be, rather than just where this one was like half the story, because they cut it down so much and stuff. But I don't know when that's got a release date, but I'll be jumping on that as soon as I know where I can get it from.
Just see it coming, don't they?
Yeah, well, let's see. The fans want it, and
you want it, you got it.
Yeah.
We did have some really good cinema trips actually this year. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we did the Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yeah, jumped on that back.
Yeah, we did.
No, I'm glad we did manage to have the chance to do that, though. Just don't get me wrong. Obviously, it might for you have been like...
Oppenheimer was...
heavy. I would say it was a bit, but I could appreciate what it was going for.
Just 3 hours of my life I'm not going to get back, am I? Whereas Barbie, we've already bought the disc. We've already rewatched it this year.
We haven't got Night Prime isn't in the house.
No, it's not. Also, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
That was such a good. Yeah. That I'll say we'll get in a minute. Go to Film of the Year, but that was a strong contender for me. But the problem with that is because it was it's a middle part of a trilogy, so it's kind of like I need the full story now. But don't get me wrong, it was amazing as not quite as strong as Into the Spider-Verse, of course, because again that's like one of those standalone films you wouldn't you
don't need the other part to it, do you?
And stuff like that, but visually and just I'm a big fanboy for Spider-Man, so
I feel like I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I should say this.
Go on.
Because we went to the cinema today and we watched the new Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
And then it was like Marvel, blah blah blah, versus with co-hosting with whoever, I don't know. And yet again, another flipping Spider-Man to take.
The trailer for Madame Web, which I hadn't actually seen. That's the first time I've seen a trailer for that as well.
How many times can you redo Spider-Man or Spider-Woman or what the hell?
I don't know.
It's the most replayed Marvel. You don't see Iron Man now casting somebody else instead of Robert Downey Jr., do you? No, you don't see that. So why is Spider-Man like this? Isn't there 4 different Spider-Man men?
I wish I had the answer to that. I don't really know all the ins and outs of what Madame Web's all about, but I think it's not essentially Spider-Man related. Might be something else. I don't know, but it's in Marvel universe, so I can't answer that, I'm afraid.
Sorry, I was like, really? Are we actually going down this?
Yeah. But I think it's a bit it's Spider-Man and Batman, as you say, they're probably most popular of consecutive. What's the word I'm looking for? Respectively, there we go. Of the two, DC and Marvel DC. Yeah.
Well, didn't Spider-Man used to be DC? Or no?
No.
It's always been Marvel.
Yeah, it's always been Marvel. Yeah. They don't just flip things like football players. It's got different teams when they feel like it. No.
What about Superman? He seems quite strong, doesn't he, Paul? You should get a Superman t-shirt this year for Christmas.
Sure.
One of the ones that I do definitely want to shove in my archive and dump it in my delete bin is The Wicker Man. That's gone.
You still get a 5 though.
Yeah.
Being generous that day.
No, it was all right. It was just
mid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I want to see it again. Ever.
I get it. Yeah, it's especially even for a modern audience. I think it's generally probably a bit slow and not great. Where's the Wicker Man? It's not until the end.
And I think because it was Halloween, I was anticipating something a lot scarier, and it wasn't really that scary.
Yeah, I guess it kind of for me it felt like a bit like fell flat on the wind taking out my sails on a little bit of that. Like not that I wanted to be scared. I thought just more of a impact on it because it's like it is heralded as one of those iconic horror pieces, but not in the way.
I don't think it was, and I think for you, bless you, you could have utilised that Halloween one for a different one and got something better out of me. I think
perhaps, but I still don't really regret doing it because
I regret seeing it.
One of the ones for me was a bit semi-despite. I think that was I like high expectations was Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Film that was kind of like it was okay.
I wanted more.
Yeah, because as I said, it was like more of like a Bond-esque type of thing, with more like kung fu karate.
To be fair, it's not really like obviously I'm aware of what the film is, but at the same time, I couldn't provide anything quotable from it or a key scene that I think is impactful and amazing. It's one of those like it's just there.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah. I don't know if it's kind of hard for those if like other like martial arts films are kind of the same way. It's like it's somewhat tricky to critique, I suppose, in a way. Like because it's like, well, we're just fighting, aren't they?
I guess, but then like
other than the fact that but that adds more of a story, isn't it?
I think that's what it is. If it has that story,
if someone's just there, and it's like, okay, well, the choreography was great, and that's.
But sometimes it's not either. That's the issue. So then it looks unrealistic.
It's like they didn't even touch him, and it was like fly across the room.
And you're like, oh right, okay. Do you think there was? Oh, sorry, we've missed one of your 10s.
Oh, have we?
Yeah, Coraline.
Oh, for the birthday special, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, another one that again I've had fondness for many years and still do because let's say like big thing on stop motion for me is that, and that's one of them.
It's beautifully done. Yeah. I can't actually. To be fair, your whole birthday special was really good. Actually, I'm surprised I scored Tenacious D higher than you did.
Yeah, I think that's more for the sort of like the humour of the time would if I was like when I saw it when I did it in like sixth form or whatever.
Did you see it with Alex and
Leone and
yeah.
So you'd be like, this is the greatest film ever type of thing. But yeah, looking back on it, it's like it's all right. Yeah, what it is. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I think
the soundtrack's great though.
The first watch of it was just hilarious for me. Yeah.
Which actually took me aback because I thought you'd be like, oh, this is very childish.
I'm a bit of a sucker for Jack Black. Yeah. So I think that's the biasness in me. Mm-hmm. But he's even good in Kung Fu Panda. Everything he touches is golden, isn't it?
Yeah, majority. There's that.
Are you going to say Governor's
Travels?
Yeah, is that what you're going to say?
No, I wasn't going to say that, but I don't think that's.
I don't think that's great. I've seen it once.
I'm that one with Ben Stiller, which you probably absolutely hate.
No wonder you've already said the person who's making it crap is Ben Stiller.
And Robert Downey Jr. wearing blackface.
How old's this film?
Came out in 2000s, late 2000s.
Really?
Yeah.
We're alright to do that.
Yeah. So.
Risky, isn't it?
There's that about.
But then he's done The Holiday, which is fantastic.
Would you have given, obviously looking at the birthday specials, do you think if you had another watch, you'd Petite Man?
Possibly could be a 10.
Because that was very close.
It was very close. I think.
Because it's quite short as well, isn't it?
It was very short, and I think it's just the concept of going back and seeing your mum as a child and becoming friends with her is quite sweet and endearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that would strike a chord with you.
Yeah, especially because I'm quite close with my mum. It really took a bit of an emotional roller coaster on it.
And for your birthday specials episode, there was a mixed bag, but Babylon did reasonably well in both our parts. But I don't think... I mean, it was quite long.
It was really long.
And some of the bits were a bit... like,
risky.
Yeah, like, I don't know why they've chosen to do that with that, but...
But Margot Robbie, yet again, fantastic.
Performance, yeah.
But then, obviously, there was Enchanted and 8 Mile, which they weren't the greatest.
Yeah. But, you know.
You win some, you lose some. I think as well, Bait resonates with me a little bit, and I don't know if that's because we were on our little holiday that we'd had for that year.
Yeah.
And we were at the seaside, and I feel like, I don't know, I kind of remember that quite well, which is weird.
It is... I mean, I enjoy it, and on a repeat viewing of that, but on that, I would say, like, when we get to, like, that's like one of our lowest scoring episodes, like my least listened to episodes.
Probably because people, it's
a bit obscure, which kind of makes me a little bit sad in a way, because it's like I'm trying to open people's up to, you know, like, new things and stuff, rather than just everybody knows Superbad, or Good and Bad, the Ugly, and all that kind of stuff. But not to say, like, you shouldn't listen to those, of course, we're not saying that, but, you know, like, what's this? Like, as a recommendation, check it out, but I don't know.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I do. There's another 2 that were really close for me that were 9s, which was Black Swan and Bringing Up Baby.
Yeah, they were both good films that we hadn't seen. Oh, no, sorry, I'd seen Black Swan before, but it had been a while, and glad we got round to covering that, because just really held up.
Yeah. And obviously we actually guested with versing Black Swan and Whiplash.
I know that was going to happen. We didn't get around to do that. But
why did we not get around to doing that? I remember doing the homework for that as well, but not actually the podcast. Now you're saying it.
No, unfortunately that didn't come to fruition, but we are having him as a guest. Salmon, I'll say that next year we're in the works for doing that. So
okay, it's in the pipeline.
But it won't be to cover those things. I think it was for his YouTube thing to be doing like a comparison piece to that. Maybe that will happen next year. But
also, if it's YouTube, you have to see my face, which is, I love a podcast. I can be wearing my pajamas and it doesn't matter.
But yeah, Bringing Up Baby was good. Again, it's more in your wheelhouse.
I don't know if I'm an old soul or what it is, but the really old films I absolutely adore. I don't know why I do, but...
And we seem to have watched more Cary Grant starring films as well, through obviously what we've recorded as episodes, and just in other things as well. So
always when you say Cary Grant, I always think it should be a woman. I don't know why, and then obviously I know it's not, but I associate the name Carrie with a female.
Yeah, it's true. To a friend called Carrie. But...
yeah.
Is there any other things you can bring up from looking at the list?
Sightseers. That's actually drawing a blank with me.
Oh, it's the one where they're going. There's another British black comedy where they're travelling around. You go to the pencil museum and stuff. And Brummy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so you can say on that.
Yeah. Now you've said it, I remember it.
Well, you did quite enjoy it though.
I did, which is weird because I was thinking I'm giving it a 7.5, but the name doesn't ring a bell of what I've watched. Actually, all the rest of them I do remember. You're proud of me.
I know I didn't get round to rewatching After Sun, so that was like the second episode we did the year, which was the more like the father and the young daughter that he had, and he was kind of like struggling with mental health issues.
We watched it was in another series, wasn't he, that we'd seen him in?
Oh yes, Normal People. Yeah.
And it kind of has that same kind of a bit of darkness tone about it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a brilliant kind of main lead guy, and obviously got the little daughter.
Yeah, I remember you said at the beginning of the year, it's like, oh, if you're not in a good, which I agree with you, if you're not in a good mental state, don't watch it. But would you watch it again if you like now after it was practically been a year?
I probably would. Yeah, I think it just depend on my frame of mind. If I was in an alright mood, then yeah, it should be fine.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think that's the same with Saturday Night Fever, and I know that sounds daft because it is a bit. I don't know.
It's darker than what you're thinking.
Yeah,
because it's supposed to be all boogieing and stuff.
I associated that with being like something like Grease, basically.
Yeah.
That's what
it's everything's nice. Well, yeah, just light-hearted.
Yeah.
Problems.
That's where I went to when I saw Saturday Night Fever on the front cover.
Yeah, and that's what you're thinking, and you're thinking, why is this 18 rated?
Yeah. Like, Jesus, God, everything's kicking off.
Yeah, I get you. Right, is there anything else that you'd like to go through on the list, or are you going to give us your film of the year before we go into...
I think everyone knows what my film of the year already is.
Oh, go on then. Enlighten us anyway.
So, my film of the year is Barbie. I cannot highlight this film enough. It made me cry, it made me laugh. I've watched it already in the space of it being in the cinema and then owning the disc, which is rare for me to want to buy something physical.
I know, like me, that's like, we'll go halves.
Yeah, and we bought like a steelbook case and everything, didn't we?
Like a nice pretty case, yeah. And
I think for that as well, for me to really want to rewatch it again, I wanted to watch it with my sister. And if we had a daughter at some point, I'd want her to see it. I think it's just an empowering piece for all women and men. It's a learning curve. And being ken enough, and yes, men can cry and they can feel their emotions, and women can, want to be a boss and own everything and be wealthy. It's got its overall morally just perfect. And I think it helps bring Barbie into a different era and a new zone, and making Barbie popular without it being...
Definitely has, yeah. I think so much so they're like, oh, we can do like a almost like Marvel MCU universe thing where like all the toy products, making a film about them. I think it's they're probably seeing it in the wrong way, thinking, oh, that did so well, we're going to make money out of it with Hot Wheels or something like that or something. But
I think because Barbie was obviously, there's been Barbie Girl kind of movies prior to this, and there's been I'm a Barbie Girl song,
DVD and stuff, that kind of stuff.
And this is just, it was so iconic. I think everyone was talking about it. Everyone was like, have you seen Barbie? And obviously the Barbie and Oppenheimer up in the air. And I think it was just the first time where people actually dressed up to go to the cinema.
As we did, yeah.
That's how special it was.
It's like one of those rare instances where you don't really get that very often to do that.
Yeah.
And experience that. So, yeah, it's great to be involved.
And you wanted to be a part of it. You didn't want to miss out on it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it extra special.
My film of the year, which is a very late contender, because it was the film we saw before last one we saw today, which is a Ghibli film.
Sure it's not the Ghibli film, though?
No. And I was like, I have to see this film before the year's out. And I think it's like it was limited screens anyway, so it's like gotta see it, and it's already been out in the States like beginning of December. Was Godzilla, the latest Godzilla film?
It was really good, to be fair. It was. I think it's because it makes you feel for the actual people. Normally when I watch a monster film, I'm getting annoyed at the people aggravating the actual monster and being like, well, leave him alone, and then he wouldn't attack you. Whereas this felt like actually Godzilla deserved everything he got thrown. And because you were kind of with a character throughout.
Yeah, you care for the people involved, and you definitely see more of an impact on what it's having, as opposed to, they're just getting stamped on or whatever, all that kind of stuff, or buildings are just being destroyed. You don't see really the impact on what that's having. You just say, it's a prop building or whatever, and you just don't really give a shit. It's I don't really go with that too much, but the fact that obviously, like I say, like a shockwave that has such an impact and literally blows people back, and then it's like, oh my god, and then you kind of just like stunned silence as it's all kicking off and everything.
Yeah. And I think because it's honing in on one person's impact of what Godzilla has done to his family and his loved ones, and I think that makes you realise how impactful the film is, just associating with that one person instead of it being, I'm going to I need to know how Godzilla works and do the science behind him and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's more actually, this person doesn't give a crap about Godzilla. If anything, if he didn't see Godzilla again, he'd be more than happy.
Yeah. Someone else trying to figure all that kind of stuff out, but it's always the case. But I know that there's always the problem they have with, there's always got to be a lull, isn't there? He walks away and then it's like, right, they regroup and everything's like, we can sit down and have a meal or whatever. There's never really a way you can truly not have that in a movie sense, because you can't have him interrupting. Right, just going back, because it's quite expensive to have the effects to have Godzilla.
It was amazing, though. It really was. It really was,
and he looked.
The only thing I've got problem with Godzilla is he's got boobs.
He hasn't got boobs.
And B,
it's just a big chest plate.
He's got a tiny head in proportion to his tail and everything else he's got on. Like, he's got a pea head.
Well, yeah, but that's always, he's gone through various iteration design thing, but that's how
I know you said, like, look at a human, they've got like a tiny head in comparisons, but it is in proportion to their body.
Yeah, majority, yeah, but it's just because he's just really big, and if you had a big head, I think it would look a bit weird if you had a really big head. But you haven't seen, like, there's been ones where he's got longer tails, and that looks a bit odd, but anyway. So glad I got to see it before the end of the year was out, and yeah.
To be fair, when you said it, I was like, do we have to? Because I'm not really big up on.
No, I'm a big Godzilla fan. Yeah.
Well, we did Monster March, and I didn't really enjoy that, and I was like, okay, we'll go.
But I knew it was something special with, and it's like, what a time to be alive to see these effects and looking so good as they do, and that iteration. Obviously, back in the day, it was a rubber suit and all that kind of stuff, and I obviously got the more modern Godzilla, like Godzilla vs Kong and stuff, but this blows this out of the water. Like, even that we see the trailer for that new one that's coming out, 2024. And I'd be like, we can't really compare now, can you? It's just like...
Yeah, no, I get you.
Lessened a bit. Well, we know what Japan can do, which is rightly so. But,
well, it is their own, isn't it? Yeah, so they have the rights to...
I'd have probably less of a budget than what Hollywood's got as well. Yeah. And they'll look like absolute crap.
But I think they love Godzilla so much that they're going to put the effort and the love into it, which they did do. But we are biased with any Japanese film, aren't we?
Now, before we get into the top 10s of your films all time.
Yeah, I'm just peeking at yours, and I shouldn't be.
No. This is the top 10 episodes.
Okay.
Uploaded episodes of the year.
So I was just gonna have a pop at you for one of them if that were gonna be in your top 10. Gosh. But one of them I just seen, and I was like, that should probably be in my top 10, but I forgot and didn't put it in.
Oh, right. That's a different one, but...
Go on then, I'll stop jumping to conclusions, shall I, and let you talk. Yeah.
So, the top 10 newest episodes of 2023, i.e. ones that we've released this year, in reverse order. So, number 10 is Black Swan.
Really? That was further on in the year as well, so... It's quite impressive.
Number 9 is Digimon the movie.
That's just all your friends. Literally, that's what it is.
Maybe so. Number 8 was Before Sunrise.
Oh, wow. But I guess we were quite early on in the year for that one.
Yeah, but people enjoyed listening to our thoughts on that. Number 7 was The Room.
Surprising you didn't say it was number 1, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm surprised, actually. Yeah, there's ones that have obviously shocked me that were higher than that, but Number 6 was Battle Royale.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nothing to say on that.
No. I'm surprised, but...
It's a popular film.
I guess, yeah, it is.
This is going to shock you.
Oh, why?
Number 5, Rita, Sue and Bob 2.
No. That's yet again because it went somewhat on my pedestal. Could have been worse, to be fair.
Number 4 was After Sun.
Okay, yeah. So like the trilogy, kind of.
No, that's not the trilogy. That's the one I mentioned about the mental health.
Oh, yes. I always get... I was thinking of Before Sunrise.
No, Sun Sunset. No.
Yeah.
Otherwise I would have said before. No. Number 3, Stand By Me. Which, honestly, like, of all things, I think, oh, okay. Why that's so high, but there we are. Number 2, Grave of the Fireflies.
Really?
Yeah.
Quite impressive.
Yeah, it's quite an impactful film, so.
I feel like that's one of those where I enjoyed watching it, but it's kind of not wanting to spoil it for everyone who wants to go see the new Ghibli film. Well, to be fair, Grave of the Fireflies is better, but it's kind of I see somewhat parallel because obviously there's the war element to it.
Yeah.
But I think the Grave of the Fireflies impacts you and touches you more than this one.
Yeah. Okay. Number 1.
Shall we have a drum roll?
Scarface.
Huh? Sorry? Everybody... Put my teeth in. So you're saying that this is the most listened to in 2023?
Of our newest episodes that we've released, yes.
Why? Yeah, again, because I think it's crap, isn't it?
Oh. Well, I don't think they would assume that based on
maybe
that, but I don't know.
Maybe because it's a popular film as well, isn't it? It's quite a classic, apparently.
Yeah. Not in Sophie's eyes. Yeah. And then what you kind of saw a glimpse of with the top 10 of all time downloads from the year. That's including
previous
previous episodes that we've done from previous years.
Mm-hmm.
So go in reverse order again. So obviously some are repeats from this top 10 I just did. But number 10 is The Room.
Okay, still quite a high contender.
Mm-hmm. Number 9, Battle Royale.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, Rita, Sue and Bob 2.
Oh wow, so quite still 2023 has been
yeah, mostly. And then this threw me for a loop. Number 7, Jack Frost, the 1998 film we covered last year.
Okay.
I think was it last year? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was.
I even can't remember.
Or 2 years now, if depending on when this airs. So it'll be not last year, the year before.
Yeah. Number 6, You Are Umaso.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was like really early.
And I have my teddy of Umaso.
Yeah. Number 5, After Sun.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, well, it probably makes sense, doesn't it? 4, Stand By Me.
Right.
Number 3, Grave of the Fireflies.
Blimey. So we had a really good year in 2023 then.
Yep. Scarface, number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently the number 1 download of all time, including that's from previous listens and everything, is Up.
That's nice. At least it's not one that I'm absolutely ripping to pieces, because I would never rip Up to pieces. I love it too much. And I forgot about it.
Well, may as well just roll into then your top 10.
This has been hard, and it's final for now, but that doesn't mean...
No, this is like with mine, so don't worry about it too much.
It will change.
Yeah.
So obviously...
Expect it to
Am I going back to front? Or one first and then...
You do 10 leading up to number 1. But if you're alright with that.
Yeah, it's just the way I've done it. It's just
making
it
makes sense, because you normally do that, don't you?
Hard work, because I didn't rewrite it in order. Okay. So, you're going to laugh at me. I've also just... Can I tell you what didn't make my top 10 first?
Yeah, honourable mentions, yeah.
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, basically... Still looking at it, it's like, it's so hard. So, Licorice Pizza sadly didn't make the cut.
Huh?
Beauty and the Beast, just because it's one of those ones where I absolutely adore it, but is it a nostalgia thing? And when I rewatch it as an adult, it's going to lose it a little bit for me, I think. So it didn't make the top 10.
Yeah.
Proposal.
All right.
Absolutely adore it, but I just couldn't justify it being up there with the ones that I'd got.
Yeah.
The Grand Budapest Hotel, I was surprised because I would really do it as a 10. And some of these you'll be like, really, Sophie? But just for me, I think for rewatchable value, I think I'd have to be in the right frame of mind to want to appreciate and rewatch it again because it is quite lengthy.
Okay.
Even Before Sunrise didn't make my top 10.
Well, it's only, unless it's something that really struck you from
they were contenders, but
no, that's fine.
Tricky.
Yeah, it's fine. Honestly, I'm not going to be like mad because I'll say that when I've gone and looked back on some of mine, thinking, "Oh, should I squeeze that in?" But then, like,
what do you get rid of instead?
Yeah,
and
it's like, it's tough. It is tough. But I'm excited to hear what you've got.
Okay, there is definitely a genre or a niche to it, which I'm hoping you're not going to like. Thought we'd taken you away from that, but still, I think I fit into that kind of genre.
Okay.
So, number 10 is The Aristocats. Oh, Ricky Ticky Ticky.
Alright, okay. Didn't see that coming. No, generally didn't like. I think I wouldn't even have thought because that's like Beauty and the Beast. Like obviously it's Disney.
I think because I've rewatched it as an adult, I feel like I haven't watched Beauty and the Beast to go back to it. I think we've watched it with.
We've watched. I know we got the 4K. I don't know, a couple of years ago, and
I feel like I don't know if I felt like it didn't hold up as strongly as when I was little.
Right.
And I know it sounds daft, like when we watched The Swan Princess, and I was really disappointed.
Yeah, different kettle of fish, though. Yeah.
Whereas The Aristocats,
that was like singing every 2 minutes. That
it was. The Aristocats is amazing, and I think I'd want a little. I was going to call her Marie, but she's not.
Marie.
Marie, yeah.
We've got a little Marie plush.
No, I mean as an actual cat, Paul.
We've got Arthur. Is he good enough?
It's a boy version.
Put a pink bow on him, you'll be right.
So yeah.
We'll know the difference.
And I think just because I remember me always going to you, we're Ricky Ticky Ticky, and having that cute kind of little banter about it, it just
that's fine.
Has more of a
nice.
touch.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9. Sorry, it is a Christmas film. But the fact that it's number 9, it is. I call it the Grinch. It's the Grinch that stole Christmas. Isn't
How
it?
the Grinch stole Christmas, yeah, because there's various versions of it. Yeah,
Jim Carrey.
Just
every Christmas Eve, I feel like that's something I want to watch. I want to see. I really enjoy it. I know you don't, but it just gives me this cozy, lovely feel.
I've kind of warmed to it a little bit more now because I'm not so kicking and screaming. But I think if he wasn't. I think I said in the episode where it's like if Jim Carrey wasn't the Grinch in it, I think it'd be a hard sell to enjoy it. But he kind of just there's the way he does it, but everybody else is a bit about it, and it's very dark in a lighting sense, and it's like
bought a 4K, my first 4K, and I was like, oh,
it's not that
very bright,
it's sharper but not brightened up. But
Number 8. Is About Time.
Yep. Good contender, yeah.
Thank you. And then number 7, Serendipity. There is only one part which made me think, oh, should I not put this in? And that's that creepy guy that plays I don't know what he plays, he's the musician guy in it, which he does make me feel a bit cringy, but the whole overall movie of itself is quite sweet. And I think it is a chick flick, but it's special. It's not like just your generic guy meets girl. It's a bit more about it, and I quite like the way it all gets tied back up with the thought of fate being.
I suppose, yeah. So, it's got John
Cusack in it, which is always great.
Yeah.
So number 6.
Yep.
Can't believe this is quite low down for me. Another Christmas film. I lied. I have got 3 Christmas films.
You said there wasn't going to be unless the something...
No, these two are really valid, the next two.
Okay.
It's Love Actually. So,
okay.
I think...
Side. Yeah.
Just because, obviously, it was the first film me and you watched, I think I've got a bit more nostalgia towards it. We walked down the aisle to PM's Love theme, so it is going to be up there.
Yep.
So, number 5.
Mm-hmm.
My Neighbour Totoro. It was a toss-up between that one and Ponyo, and I was like, oh, which one? And it's like, you could have more than one Studio Ghibli, but I feel like this one for me, I've got little Totoro on my key ring. It's just that kind of nice, beautiful feeling about watching it. It's
very simplistic and everything's it's just a joy, really. That could have made mine, but that could be in its own category just for animation. So
I agree with you, I really do. Number 4, La La Land.
Choice.
Thank you. So yet again, we've got Ryan Gosling. This time we've got Emma Stone. So obviously Paul's going to think it's a good choice, but it still comes back yet again. I think it's the more current version of A Singing in the Rain for me.
Yep.
And I think that's why I like it. Number 3 is my favourite movie of the year this year. So Barbie.
Yeah.
Number 2.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes. Is that because you knew there was another Christmas film coming?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I know that being on people's number 1 film, but I think predominantly because it's, I say, a lot of it doesn't necessarily happen around Christmas as well. But in a sense of that works as being a favorite film of all time because it's something that you'll put around every year at Christmas, won't you? So, so always works. You will always get round to seeing it. So.
Yeah, every year you will. I will watch it.
Yeah,
and then obviously number 1 is Singing in the Rain. Even though I didn't realise Singing in the Rain didn't have a G on the end.
Singing, yeah.
Yeah.
A short abbreviated slang.
Yeah. Which I only realised when I was writing it that I'd spelt it wrong initially.
Well, I didn't know number 1 was going to be that, obviously, because you've got the poster on the wall and everything. Just people should know what mine is.
Is it Jurassic Park by any chance? I'm only joking. I think that'll be in there though, to be fair, in your top 10. I know that's going to be there.
But I did think that It's a Wonderful Life would be in there, but I didn't know where it would fall in there.
When it would come into number 2 and then I hadn't had it in there, would you be like, what?
A little bit, yeah, to be honest.
Is there any that have taken you by surprise? Is there any you think, would you really class that? I'm sorry, it's not in order.
That's fine. I guess Serendipity over because I did wonder about obviously Licorice Pizza and Grand Budapest Hotel, but I know they're obviously. I mean, we've seen Licorice Pizza a couple of times now, haven't we? So yeah,
I think Grand Budapest I've only seen the once, so maybe that would change with a couple of watches. I think Serendipity, to be fair, I've seen a lot more of.
Yeah, it's something you've kind of grown up with essentially.
Yeah,
maybe with our Aristocats as well, but I had more of a connection with me.
Because
that mum's. I don't know if it's my mum's favourite Disney film, maybe, possibly, because she loves cats. So.
Well, then I forgot about Up as well. To be fair.
Yeah. I say what I've done when I've gone back through. My top 10 is mostly going through what I've logged on Letterboxd, and those are top. What I've given on there is 5 stars. But if I really thought about it, if I went back on the shelves and stuff, I thought, that film I've forgotten.
It is hard to kind of pick your top 10. I think top 5, I'd pretty much.
Yeah, you go with those. Yeah,
I'd got that, and I was happy with them, and then it was like, what do I now put in? And it was hard trying to write down ones I'd already got, thinking should they be 10 or not. Okay, right. So over to you. Really, I feel more relieved now that that's done. Can I just say? Obviously, your number 1's going to be The Shining.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I just take a couple of predictions before you say
Yeah,
yours?
go on. Yeah.
Jurassic Park is going to be there somewhere, I believe. I don't know. Jaws is coming to me for some reason. I don't know why. Is it?
Yeah.
We're gonna have Godzilla in there as well. Anything that's got a monster in it.
It doesn't make the cut, sadly.
Does it not? Blimey. It's probably going to be some more scary things that I don't appreciate in there as well. Let me think. I'm not sure if La La Land might make you cut. Depends on what your vibes are. But it's a couple of predictions. Yeah. I think there's another one that, if I remember it, I'll tell you.
Well, a couple of honourable mentions I'll give.
You didn't even tell me to do that, so I'm so proud of myself for doing extra. Thank you.
I think you had to sort of like say, hear me out, Paul, this is why there's some Christmas films that are taking precedence over that. I think that's probably why you said. But generally, I think for me, it's like, it's tough, but 3 ones that didn't quite make it are Wolfwalkers.
Oh, forgot about that.
It's really, really great Irish animation.
It's beautiful.
Still got that on my computer as the background wallpaper on that.
Normally it's Pokemon.
Yeah, it's just
Don't tell me Digimon's in your top
10. No. Well, if I go at 7, why would it be on the?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Nostalgia trip.
Yeah. Into the Spider-Verse, as I said, like that's such a good one.
Spider-Man one as well.
No, because that's my favourite Spider-Man film.
Really?
Into the Spider-Verse. And Fantastic Mr. Fox is another one, but again, it's like I can make a whole top 10 of just animation films. And
Stop frame.
Yeah, it's Coraline as well as like another one. But yeah, again, you could just going on and on about with top 10s and stuff, with things that could be contenders. But as it stands, could all like I say, like always looking out for a new one to take a spot on the top 10 slot. But at number 10, you've no idea what this is.
Thanks.
Kuroneko.
No, you're right. I don't. What is it?
It's a black and white Japanese film.
Okay.
That it was a film that I on like first watch and then I instantly went into like the top spot. It was.
Would I actually like this or?
No, I think you would.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like obviously like in the samurai era type of thing. When
not like The Last Samurai though, is it? Like the last 3
whatever
it is.
7 Samurai. No, it's not quite like that. There's more of there's elements of like a romance of such. There's there's horror in a very loose sense, like super scary. There's a bit of theatrics in the like kabuki theatre type of element to it, and drama and stuff. And I think like there's something like ethereal and sort of like spooky about it, but in a subtle way that's really quite beautiful in the way it's shot and everything. So I think
selling it. So maybe it'll have to be one that you've seen I haven't seen.
Yeah, I think I put it on the list of stuff that I've been marking through and going through that. So that's going to be on there. Number 9 is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. The Jim Carrey serious role with Kate Winslet. Well, really resonated after so many years of seeing that, really. And I think that's down to Charlie Kaufman writing on that, and I think it's really just it's sad but also sweet at the same time, like with what it's going through with that. So number 8 now, I've kind of switched, but I've kind of done a bit of thing like I muddled up the thing because it's a bit like, oh, where does that sit, where, all that kind of thing. But I'll go with number 8 being Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes, I forgot about that. Little Shop. Also, we had a guest.
We did. We had Gemma from Skip to the End podcast. That was really good. I was really happy that we got her as a guest.
And it was such a good episode. It really was.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that one.
I really did. I enjoyed the film. Seeing the director's cut as well. So much better.
Oh, that was the first one
Yeah.
That was my engine.
And then I showed you what the end of that was, and did you think like?
Yeah, I did actually, which is weird because normally I like the happy ending,
but
I actually quite like the bit more controversial part of it.
Yeah, so much they've done. They took the time and effort to put all that work in. It's like, why not showcase that? But I know that's just how cutthroat it can be. But anyway, number 7, Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Paul, no. There's so many other spots that could be taken. Oh my god, that's your dad's fault. That is.
It's something that always still makes me laugh.
I do remember when we were on a honeymoon in Scotland and they played that clip and you were the only one that was in absolute hysterics over it.
I wouldn't go that far, but I was still like chuckling to myself.
Yeah, you were, and I'm looking, thinking no one else is laughing to sweets. And you're like, hee hee hee.
But it's just, I really enjoy it, and so it's rare for me to really like a comedy film that's stuck with me for so long. But again, obviously I think it's a sort of thing that's grown up with it, and so that's carried on through adult.
Yeah, it's definitely nostalgia based, isn't it?
Yeah, but still, it's still really great. Number 6 is Jaws.
Yay!
I think that was. I think you away somewhere. I can't remember where, but it was at some point. I went Jaws 3D was at the showcase.
I'm glad I didn't see that. That would have been like recanting my horrible.
And that, not Jaws 3D because there's a film called that, and it's like it's shit. It's like a sequel to it, but so it was actually Jaws in 3D, but it did actually add like an extra level of depth to an already fantastic film, and since then it's like this is a 10 film, 10 rated film. I think early days
you would love the ride in this Universal. You really would if it's still there.
Don't know if it is, but
I don't actually know if it is because it was a long time ago when I went.
But no, I think that the balance of like having it all part of it on land and then it's the 3 characters on the boat at sea for the remainder of the film. It's just you get to know them and that balancing. Obviously, people might be like, "Oh, that shark's rubbish" or whatever, but I think it's like again show less and build up more of a monster in your head.
Yeah.
I know they had trouble with the animatronics anyway, so I can't really fault them for that. But anyway, but they did a good job. What?
Okay. Like my serendipity, that's a little. I knew you were going to have it there, but it wouldn't be in mine. But yeah. Right.
Number 5. It's a Wonderful Life.
Yay! Can't believe you didn't score it too. You cry every year. It should be higher up.
No, that's definitely grown on me more now that we've kind of mutually we really like it. Really, in this so much. You might be like again for a film that's obviously of its time, isn't it? And some of the actions and stuff in it would be like, ooh.
Oh, hot dog.
No, not so much like more just the approach to how.
Yeah.
But you take it as it is. And
I think the moral's still there, though. It still stands.
You can take the lessons that you take from it. Still applicable.
And I think it's just realising what impact do I have on everybody's life. Like if I wasn't actually here, how would everyone else's life pan out?
Number 4, American Psycho.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Still, initially, I kind of was not a lowish score, but it's high, but not quite. I think that was like first year of when we did the birthday special stuff. We covered. I
think I've only watched it the once, haven't I?
Yeah, female director as well, but
male lead,
and I think the sensibilities and stuff that just in it. I always see like I think it's very memeable. Like I've seen that constantly, like the nice and all they're walking with headphones down a corridor and it's listening to something that's not just silly or whatever, or the
like Disney music instead of
the "Hey Paul" with the axe and all that kind of stuff. It's just like it's so great, and kind of like what's involved in it as well. Obviously, it's sort of like a horror in a sense,
yeah,
but more of a social commentary on things, so works as well, rather than just like, just killing for the sake of it or whatever, all that stuff. And, and there's that, what was real, what wasn't, kind of.
True, it is a bit of a mind trippy one, isn't it?
Yeah. Number 3, La La Land.
Yes! So I did have some that I knew you would have. So we actually agree on 2 so far that were in my top 10 and in yours. So we've got It's a Wonderful Life and La La Land that we definitely both agree on.
Yeah. Well, that's only so it's that old style Hollywood that's sort of like Singing in the Rain or a modern twist on it.
And I love the ending of La La Land because it doesn't actually give you a happy ending. Which you would assume you would get with this kind of film, and I think that's what you don't anticipate it to end the way it does, which I kind of appreciate and like.
Yeah, you just, people drift apart. You might think that they might with the one or whatever and all that stuff, but then people change, their careers change, and other elements do, and that's that. And then it's like a big what if for the last part of that film. Spoilers for whoever hasn't seen it, but like it's what happens if everything went correct and we'd be together and we live in happy lives and all that kind of stuff. But
I think everyone has what ifs moments, don't they?
Yeah. And number 2 is Jurassic Park. Yeah. Number 1, The Shining. So
I guess 4 of yours then.
Yeah. I just wasn't gonna think of what's in the list, but you wouldn't. But then you wouldn't know where they were in the list anyway. So,
but still, I'm proud of myself for knowing 4 of them.
Yeah.
No, I do listen to you more than you think.
Yeah, that's that.
So wrap for 2023. But a good year with podcast and movies we've watched, I would say.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to covering new and old ones for movies. Got this thing and say more guests. Involved with,
sounds like you've made a lot of effort with the lineup for 2024 this year. You've actually you're already planning now.
Yeah.
So.
So guys, next episode won't be this Thursday coming. It'll have a short break to sort of regather my thoughts and plan more planning, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then so it'll be the following Thursday of the new year when.
So it'll be the airing on the 11th, I think.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah. So not the first week in January. The Thursday. Yeah.
The second week in January.
I think the second day. No.
The second week in Jan.
Second week in Jan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll get less in January, but then you get more in February because it's a 5.
It's a leap year, yeah.
Yeah. So it works that way when the episode would drop on that. So yeah.
And also, this is like a bonus one that gets just dropped at the end of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't get dropped on,
Yeah.
the normal Thursdays that we do.
No, exactly.
I just want to say a massive thank you for everyone who's listened to us rambling, and I apologise if this hasn't been, the most cut and perfect podcast, but it's raw, and I think that's why I said what makes it. Yeah. I just want to thank everyone for listening to us, being there, kind of supporting us, joining our podcast, us joining theirs, and I hope everyone has a wonderful new year and a brilliant start to 2024.
Yep, thanks once again, everybody, for listening. Really appreciate all you've done with the support and everything. Can't thank you enough. It means a lot that people still and do actually listen to our show.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and all the best for 2024. Really, with all your own endeavours and whatever you hope it brings.
Yeah, and also I just hope you had a wonderful Christmas before then, because I didn't actually say that to anybody.
Yeah, I'm sure I did.
Yeah.
Well, thank you once again, everyone, for listening to this rambly episode, and speak to you next time.
Speak to you in the new year.
See ya. Bye.
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 Bye.